Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we're going to be talking about Apple and the iPhone. So Apple has decided to go ahead and show us their hand. Every year we get to see what they've done, what they're going to do, the leaks and everything. And right now, Apple has shown us the 15, 15 Plus, 15 Pro, and 15 Pro Max. Now, there are a few differences, obviously, between all these devices, but we're going to focus on the one that I'm probably going to more than likely get, which would be the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now, last year, the previous iteration, I grabbed all of them, actually. I still have 13 Pro Max, 14 Pro Max of all those phones, I think. So I'm going to add the 15 Pro Max to that because I want to see some differences with the 15 Pro Max from the 14 Pro Max. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But, last year, the 14 Plus, to me, was the ultimate iPhone to buy of all the iPhones that came out. It was the most reasonably priced for an iPhone and offered a lot. You had great battery, cameras were great, everything about it was it was a flawless device. This year, the conversation will probably be the same. The 15 Plus is probably the smartest purchase of them all. And, while I might not grab it this year, I'm not sure. But I still say you should probably think about getting that one if you're coming from something like a 12 on back, or maybe even a 13 at this point, because the 15 Plus is ultimately the 14 Pro Max. In a nutshell, you look at those side by side, you're going to see what they did with the 14 Plus and the 13 Pro Max. It's the same thing. Apple's way of doing things that's just what it is. This is how they're going to play the game, and it's been working for them. So in reality, I'm probably going to stick on board with what I said the previous year. The 15 Plus is probably going to be the one that you should probably think about getting, not the 15 Pro Max. Now, if you're going to be doing what I plan on doing with the device, you can still go with the 15 Plus. But this year, I wanted to check out a few things on the 15 Pro Max in comparison to the 14 Pro Max. So I'll more than likely put those side by side on video for you guys, and even bring in the 13 Pro Max as well. But I wanted to kind of take a step back and look at the changes for a second that they've actually made to the 15 Pro Max. Now, the first thing is the hardware. So supposedly Apple has rounded off the corners and edges of the device. And since it's titanium, obviously it's going to be a little bit lighter. But what they've essentially done to grab my attention is they've made the phone feel better in the hand, possibly. And that alone is going to be a welcome thing from me. I thank you for doing this, because I've always said that the iPhones feel really heavy. If the 15 Pro Max is what I think it's going to be, it's going to feel good. It's going to feel good, and it's going to feel really good in the hand. So lightweight, more chamfered edges on the backside, so it won't be as sharp. If you have an iPhone 14 Plus, or excuse me, 14 Pro Max, any of the recent iPhones, and they have the flat sides, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's going to feel probably a little bit more rounded and easier in the hand. And then also with titanium, like I said, it's going to be lighter. So that's the first thing that really drew me into this iPhone, and made me really consider, like, wow, I probably should go ahead and pick this up. Now, obviously, I'm not an iPhone person. I'm an Apple person, but I'm not an iPhone person. I like everything else Apple pretty much, as far as the computers and laptops and stuff like that, and, other things, keyboards, I'm all in for that. But iPhones have never really caught on to me. And then I've used iPhones for up to a year and a half straight, almost 2 years straight. I had the same iPhone 10. And I've done it in the past where I made it a primary device, but overall, my experience on Android it's more universal for me. I don't know. I just really like it a lot. So, and I like the customizations that I can do with Android, just the simple things. Being able to put an icon somewhere, it means a lot to me for some reason. I don't know what that's about, but nonetheless, the iPhone for sure will be a device that I get. Now, whether I get it on launch day or not is another story, and we'll talk about that too in just a second. But the next thing that really grabbed my attention was the cameras. Now, a phone that I regularly use for video is this phone right here, the S23 Ultra. This is one of the best phones you can use for video if you do creation for any kind of social media. You see all those cameras back there? It is checking every box that you want it to check. Now, Apple, and by the way, I'm actually using the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5 to record this video, so take note of that. But Apple, on the other hand, has always had great video. But the 15 Pro Max says that they're going to take it to another level. Now, while I probably wouldn't use 120 millimeter zoom, I wouldn't use something like that very often because honestly, I don't use it a lot. The 70 millimeter on here, I believe it is, hardly at all. But everyone has stepped into that arena of giving a good photo from a long distance with a cell phone. Even Google. Google's AI algorithm is just ridiculous when you want to zoom in on a photo and take a photo with the 7 Pro. It's incredible. So with that being said, video is where I plan to really put the iPhone 15 Pro Max to the test, because video with the iPhone 15 Pro Max or the current models, they don't do good, in my opinion, with a vlog style like this. They do okay, but I would much rather prefer to use the Z Fold 5 because I have a viewfinder, and even the S23 Ultra or even the Z Flip 5. I could use that too because I do have a viewfinder. But if I didn't have a viewfinder, I have used this for plenty of vlogs, and I can position myself and control it with my S Pen. That is got to be just one of the best things about having the Ultra. You have a lot of things you can do. But aside from that, the quality that I get from these Samsung products, it's Apple is no longer like this video king that they once kind of held this title for by a lot of people. And I don't think so. I think me using the product sometimes like this, and then I tell you about it, a lot of people say, whoa, I can't believe that was a phone. Well, yeah, it is. One place where Apple really shines, though, is outside. When I vlog outside with an Apple device, it's almost unmatched. It's perfect. The colors are very accurate. Sometimes the Samsung phones can be too punchy and turn my reds to orange. You know, it's just different. And Apple seems to really hone in on that with their video quality, which is something I really enjoy. So I've frequently been on record letting you know that for almost a year straight, I used the iPhone 13 Pro Max as my top-down camera shot, and it recorded all of the footage on the channel, even though I have 5 cameras, a couple of Sonys, a couple of Canons, DJIs. I have a ton of cameras I could use for that spot. But I chose the iPhone 13 Pro Max for almost a year straight. You can just go ahead and call it a year because it was like 11 and a half months or something like that. I don't know what it was. But I've been on record letting you know that this is what I've done. And that's how much I like to use the iPhone to record things. But I want the iPhone to step up its vlogging game in a situation like this. Now you're going to say, Jay, well, what's the situation? Well, I'm sitting at my dining room table. I have 2 windows behind me, and they are partially cracked for a little bit of light because it's actually a really gloomy day out. It's actually storming outside right now. And I have 3 more windows over here in the living room area, and only one of them is partially cracked. And so this is how I'm creating this particular lighting setting. I'm using natural light, and the only thing I am using with the Z Fold 5 is an external microphone. Other than that, and I really don't have to use an external microphone. I could record in pro mode, but I prefer to use portrait style video. And with that, I've learned that when I add an external microphone, I just really like how it sounds. It picks up all the tones. I can block out more background noise. It's just a lot better. So anyway, this is where I want Apple to shine. And I do, in fact, when I did use the 13 Pro Max for that whole time, I used an external microphone. While the microphones are great, you just can't beat the microphones of an external high-powered microphone when you're using a smartphone. You can bring your videos to life. Like if I didn't tell you that I was using an external microphone and a Z Fold 5, you would probably think that I'm using some special camera, just a regular camera to record. That's how good cell phones have gotten, folks. Yeah. So when I'm able to get my iPhone 15 Pro Max, and we're going to get into that right now, I'm going to put the cameras to the test. I'm going to take it outside. I'm going to record everything. I'm going to do more stuff on my car channel. If you want to see a lot of footage with all the devices I have, my car channel, I believe it's linked down below. My car channel. It's still Jay Williams over there too, but my car channel. I use different phones at different times. And a lot of times, lately I've been using my DJI Action 3. I was going to get the 4, but I didn't. But I do have something else coming from DJI. You'll see it up there. Anyway, yeah, you can see a lot of how these devices work on my car channel. So the iPhone 15 Pro Max, the takeaway for me was a little bit better hardware, and I want to see what those cameras do. I'm ready for them to step their game up for vlogs like this. And okay, now real quick, I don't know if you can see a shift. The storm is kind of stopping, and now the sun is trying to peek through. So things probably might get a little bit brighter. Yeah, natural sunlight, natural lighting is what I use to record in this area. But now, so Apple did, and in question, if you do decide to get the iPhone 15 Pro Max, 15 Pro, 15 Plus, 15, which one are you getting and what color are you getting? Now, I opted for the natural titanium, 256 gig Max. That's it. No big secret. I think it's going to look really good in person, and I'm really ready to get onto that hardware and see how it goes. But I am still disappointed in one area that I think is just unfortunate. I've been using Type-C for quite some time, and Apple didn't really do anything with the Type-C. There's not really, you get the fastest data transfer speeds with the iPhone 15 Pro Max only. And then you also don't get any kind of fast charging. So it's kind of a surprise to me that Apple still didn't take advantage of this area, because Apple's products, Apple has the most powerful phones on the market. Don't deny it. It is what it is. We're not using all that because we're not creating full-blown production movies with our phones like Apple does with extra rigs. And we're not doing that. We could, but we're not taking it to that level yet. I like to do a vlog, and I'm going to have one of the best vlogs if I can have it for quality. But Apple didn't take advantage of the Type-C. I would like to have a desktop mode, but see, Apple won't do that because it makes people step away from their other products. Unfortunately, like DeX is a hot item. I can plug into DeX, go wireless DeX, but if I want to plug into DeX for a secure connection, Apple still hasn't done any kind of desktop mode on their stuff. When you plug their products in, it just plugs in. Best you get is a mirror. But I really would like if they did some kind of desktop mode with the Type-C and actually offered 55 watt fast charging or 60 watt charge. Do something to make the iPhone special. Stand out, because it deserves some respect. Apple has set a lot of trends in the market, and they're still not taking advantage of the hardware that they're pushing out. They love to talk about how powerful their products are, but they don't do anything with the power. Okay, so a couple of games here and there. There's so many things that you can do with all the power the iPhone gives, and Apple doesn't do it. But that's their choice. So Type-C, I wasn't blown away by it already because I'm already using Type-C. So what's the big deal? But Apple fans, I hope they are excited. Like true hardcore iPhone fans, I hope you are excited. I'm happy for you. Yeah. That's just what it is. I'm glad that they finally got it. I don't have to crack any jokes or anything. Oh, you late. That's played out by now. It's played out if you're still doing that. If you're still jumping online talking about what the iPhone got 10 years ago, this is played out. It's just something to draw attention to yourself, I would assume. But nonetheless, one of the main features that are factors of the iPhone that's still a turnoff to me is that it doesn't have a physical SIM card for US and Canada. I think Canada is on board now with just eSIM only. I'm not sure, but double check that. You can fact check that if you want to, but at least I know the US, if I remember correctly, we don't have SIM cards from Apple anymore, because this is a way for Apple to maintain control and work with the carriers and make sure they get a sale. They can make sure they get a sale. And it also hurts for the unlocked crowd. An unlocked person wants to be able to pop their SIM card in and out. Earlier, I had my SIM card in my Pixel Fold. Well, it's the weekend, so now I want to use something else. I said, I'm going to take my SIM card out. I use Visible Wireless. So, hey, you can jump on the Visible if you want to. It's a phenomenal service. I've been loving it ever since. After 27 years with T-Mobile, Visible is way better service. Get every phone call, no drops, yada, yada, yada. But I want to be able to pop my SIM card out and pop it into something else. Yeah, can't do that with eSIM. You have to go into my account, transfer it over. You can do it, and it's not that it's hard, but it's too much of a hassle for me at this point in the game. I have how many phones? 50, 100, I don't even know. And I want to be able to walk in there, take my SIM card out and I don't want to be bothered with the carrier. That is where Apple maintains that control. They're making sure they get a sale and they're locking those carrier ones that are just straight up locked, I guess, until you pay it off in full or whatever, and then it can be unlocked, but it still doesn't have a SIM card. And some people argued that, well, SIM cards are the future, or eSIM is the future. eSIM has been around for a long time, but now since Apple is doing it, it's the future. Go figure. So, Sushi Man Jay, they did talk about the Apple Watches. My Apple Watch is still like brand new. I have the Apple Watch SE 2 and Apple Watch 5. I don't, in the first generation Apple Watch, I don't buy these certain things because if it's still working, it's working. I still have my original AirPods and I still have not upgraded. I've had those for whenever the first ones came out, I got them. And that's where it's at with that. So I don't plan on switching just to review something. For certain things, I'm just not going to get it just to review it, especially if I know it's not going to get into use. And my Apple Watch currently doesn't get as much use anymore because I'm just full throttle with Android. But you can rest assured when the iPhone 15 Pro Max or the 15 Plus or whatever I get lands in my lap, I will link it back up to this watch and I will move forward with it. So the Ultra and all these other watches and things they announced, it's cool. It's cool. There are some benefits to Apple's Type-C, though. You can charge other things. You can charge your, you can do that. It's still not enough for me to get excited about Apple having Type-C now. No big deal. So, it's your man Jay. What iPhone are you getting? What color are you getting? Leave a comment down below. And thanks for joining me in a quick vlog. See you in the next one. Take care.